Hello, hello, welcome back. And today we have one of my favorite topics to talk about. And we are going to get super deep and we're going to get into some things that are super touchy and politically incorrect, which are all things that I absolutely love, lights me up, but will probably trigger a lot of you guys. So I'm kind of interested to see all you guys' comments. And yeah, we're talking about for the love story you've dreamed of, this is what will make it happen. So I'm giving you all the real deal stuff that nobody's talking about out there. Pretty much nobody. And yeah, this will definitely hit hard and hit home. And I'm excited to get into it. But before we get started, I wanted to say that there's this guy that leaves me some comments under some of my videos where he thinks I haven't gone deep enough into something, or is like, oh, maybe you forgot to say this, or whatever. And he gives some really insightful comments, and so this is from that, so the credit is due there, so just letting you guys know. But yeah, let us get right into this. Okay, so first, as a little disclaimer, we need to make sure we're on common ground. So I'm going to make a couple assumptions, and then you can decide if this is for you or not. And I have all this written down, so that's why I'm going to be looking down. You guys can just listen to this because, yeah, I decided to video instead of just keeping a black screen, so there you go. So first, I need to assume that the man you have in your relationship is more of an alpha type male. You know, women always want equality until they are in a relationship. And then, if they are feminine, they like, and the man likes it too, that the man can pay for everything and make the decisions, etc. And of course, that they can help and put in their opinion and everything. But it's just nicer if you can just take the lead and be a man, right? So we will call that the submissive. And before, we will call that the submissive role. The woman is taking a more submissive role, okay? So before women get all up in arms about that, there is nothing wrong with taking a submissive role, okay? If anything, it's actually a rather nurturing and healthy role to take. One person needs to take the lead. Think of it a little like driving a car. You have what tends to normally be the man driving the car, and the woman in the passenger seat. So he's taking the alpha lead, and she's taking the submissive stance, right? And we do this with other people too, with our friend or whatever. They're taking the lead, we're taking more of a submissive stance, or we're taking the lead and they're taking more of the submissive stance. If both of you are trying to take control of the car, you're going to fight for the steering wheel as the car is moving, and you are going to crash. You are going to get in an accident. And it's the same thing in a relationship. Somebody has to take the more dominant role. And that is typically the man. Okay, so now that disclaimer or explanation is out of the way, let's continue. The biggest thing to have the love story you've ever dreamed of with the man of your dreams is respect. Yes, which is something none of us are taught these days, so if you're not good at it, I do not blame you because I wasn't very good at it either, and I'm still working on it. And sometimes I don't even know what that constitutes, so that's why we're going to go into this. A woman needs to show her man respect. Respect is right up there with love. In fact, I've heard one guy say, he's like a really big person who talks, I forget what his name is. Anyway, super masculine. And he was saying that if I had to choose between a woman loving me or a woman respecting me, he was like, I would prefer the respect. And that goes for pretty much all men, which is the opposite from us women, right? Like for us, we want to be loved and adored and cherished and all of that. But that just goes to show that men and women, you know, we appreciate different things. So a woman might love their man and might show her man she loves him. But if she doesn't show him she respects him, he won't be happy. He needs to feel respected. That means no nagging him about everything. Don't push him as to where he was or what he was doing and why isn't he spending more or all of his time with you. You know, many men need their own space sometimes. And if you're an introvert like me, You understand that we need our own space sometimes too. It doesn't mean we hate everybody. We just want to be left alone for a little bit, right? Many men need their own space. They need to recharge in a sense. Think of it as kind of like, the feminine depth and allure and beauty and everything. It's kind of like taking somebody like underwater. It's like that deep and potent. And sometimes, like when you're underwater, you need to resurface for some air. And that's kind of like how the man is. It doesn't mean that he's tired of you or doesn't want to be with you anymore. He just needs to resurface for air. So just give him a little bit, a few days or whatever he needs. And anyway, so I thought that was a good analogy. But yeah, they just have to recharge in a sense. It has nothing to do with not enjoying their time with their woman. It just has to do with being able to be with, their friends or their selves sometimes. So it's nothing against the lady. As the wife, you may want to know where he is, but you need to find a way to ask him in a way that makes him feel he's respected and that you're not trying to control him. And let me take that in another context. Like, we don't like it when our parents, if they're really controlling and everything, are always like, where are you? Or it only takes 20 minutes to get there. Like, where are you? And this is like after just like 5 or 7 minutes have gone by. Or, when they're always like that. Even as a woman, we don't like that either. We wouldn't like the man to be like, okay, where are you? And tell me and like all this stuff. Nobody likes that. We're our own autonomous, beings. So, control. This is another one. So the first thing was respect. Now the second thing is control. Don't control your man. Control your man. Okay? If you want the relationship of your dreams. You married him for who he was. Don't try to change him to make him more like how you think you want him to be. And so that's the other thing. When you're choosing a guy, are you okay with if he never changes? Or like if there are things you need to sort that out before you get married so that you're on the same lines of thought than being like, oh, I'm going to change him later. Because, like even as a woman, I wouldn't want to be changed afterwards. I wouldn't want to marry someone and then get the feeling that they don't like me for who I am and they're just trying to change all these things about me. I would not like that. And I don't think most of us would like that either. So don't try to change him to make him more like how you think you want him to be. Because what will happen is A, you'll succeed and make him more like what you want, or B, you're going to get him very irritated and feeling disrespected and unvalued, which is usually what happens, right? We see that in relationships like all the time. Now let's assume you succeed in changing him. Guess what? You will lose respect for him and you will lower your value of him. As a result, you're going to resent him more and more because now he isn't the alpha you thought he was. And as time goes on, you're going to disrespect him and resent him more and more until you probably can't stand him anymore. And how often do you see this? Also. And all this because he changed into something you claimed you wanted because he loved you enough to make the effort. So, because he loved you enough to make the change, you lost respect for him. Try to wrap your heads around that. To this day, it doesn't make sense. Yet that is what I've seen happen, more than once. I think we all can say that. And it's sad but true. If we look around, we'll see it. However, I will say this. You can gently and lovingly point him in the direction of what would make you happier. Okay, that is the power and influence a woman has in her feminine. Because your man wants to make you happy. I mean, why else, would he be with you, right? Do you guys want to be with each other to make you unhappy? I mean, that's what most people act like, but I don't think that's what we want, right? And I'm definitely not saying to give up on everything you desire. No. Relationships are the woman's domain, okay? So you do have, influence over what happens. We're just saying don't try to control and change someone. You know, there's a difference. Okay, next point. Have you seen how things were in the 40s, 50s, and 60s? You know, how the relationship roles were. That is what we need to get back to, because that worked, right? We saw like divorce rates now are like so high compared to what they were back then. Like they worked. That is what we need to get back to. You see all those cute looking old people that have been together for like 50 to 60 years and they still love each other? You know, one dies and the other dies a year or two later because their soulmate is gone and they're lonely. You know, they feel alone. And it's sad, but at the same time, it's beautiful. And yeah, you know, that's what I want. I think that's what a lot of people deep inside want if they were honest with themselves. Which, when I was younger and more feminist, I would totally be like, no, I would never want to be that close to somebody. Why would I want to like die when they die? But that's what, you know, a beautiful part of love is. And so it was sad. It's sad, but at the same time, it's beautiful. And do you know what the catalyst was that destroyed that? Don't get mad, but please stop and think about it before, you know, lashing out and typing out and like all this stuff. But honestly, you can do whatever you want, because anything you comment, YouTube doesn't see. It just thinks that I'm getting promoted, so it helps. But honestly, think about this with an open mind and an open heart, because nothing we're saying here is to hurt anybody. I mean, we're genuinely just trying to make a change so people are happy again, right? Like that's what this channel is all about. You know, the catalyst that started this downward spiral was the pill. I said it. Birth control was one of the huge main things that began all of this. And it started and fueled the feminist movement as women felt how they have power to choose if and when, you know, they have children. It allowed them to trap men into marriages by accidentally forgetting to take the pill, thus getting pregnant, and forcing the man to stick with the woman because she's tied to him by saying, you know, she was on the pill, so he didn't need to use protection. The pill gave power to women to start their own revolution. Do some research and look it up. It's quite interesting, actually. And it wasn't good people that came up with the pill and all of this feminist movement. It was some really gnarly people, okay? And I also have a video on the birth control pill and how harmful it is. It's in my femininity playlist. It's one of the first ones. And how harmful it is for the female body. And it's something you will also be super passionate about too after watching. Okay, I'll put in one more point on today's topic for how to have your dream relationship. Show your man you love him. And men are physical creatures. I know that isn't groundbreaking news, but yes, men are physical creatures. And men know women are more emotional creatures. And for women, it's all about the emotions and all that sort of thing. But that doesn't work on the guys. Guys are physical. So show you love him in his language. Have an intimate and physical relationship with him regularly. You know, this shows him he's wanted, and men need to feel wanted. Okay, so this next thing I'm going to say is a bit triggering, so skip it or listen if you want your dream relationship. But also, stop withholding intimacy from your husband, you know, to try to get what you want from him. Stop using intimacy as a weapon. That is manipulative. And of course, there are other ways to go about it, but I want to put it in this context. Because women, be honest, you hate it when other people or men manipulate you, right? It is passive aggressive, and frankly, it's no fun, right? So that's why we don't want to do this, because it is passive aggressive, like other manipulative behaviors. And frankly, it's probably what leads many men to cheat on their wives or girlfriends, if we're going to put it that way. So work out your issues in a healthy way, but not that way. Because men are physical and they like that. And I think everybody knows this, so this is not groundbreaking news, but I'm just putting it out there. Okay, I know most of you will not like that point, but that's okay. Like I said, all comments promote me, so I don't mind. But think this through. You weren't forced to marry the man you're with. There's no arranged marriage in the West, right? Face it, you chose that man. If you chose him, that means he's a good guy. If he's not a good man, then I am seriously questioning your sanity for picking him. And if he's a good guy, then why withhold? Most of you don't mind giving all that stuff to your boyfriends or your one-night stands, right? So why does it change when it's your husband? So be open to it. He provides and goes to work every day, whether he feels like it or not. So you can also, whether you feel like it or not, you can say, you know what, I am not in the mood, but you're free to warm me up. And now he's free to be like, okay, she doesn't really want it, so I'll leave her alone. Or if he wants to, he can proceed, and try to make you in the mood or entice you into the mood, more like. Tell him what works for you and what doesn't work for you. Be open. This is all about open communication and making both parties happy, okay? I mean, why in every movie it seems like there are those scenes? It's because people like to watch them, which, yeah, I don't know why you want to watch other people doing that, but that is what you see society wants. And so if it's everywhere, at least have it where it is okay to, where it is good to, where it is right to, which is in the marriage. And yeah. I was going to say something else, that men are, really simple and easy. That it's just a few simple things you have to do, and you can have them wrapped around your little finger and be having, your best life. So I'll have a couple links below that were recommended to me, and they are optional, and they are exceptional. Yes, they're optional, you don't have to watch them, but they're also exceptional because I learned a lot from watching them. So definitely check them out if you want to dive deeper. And to wrap this up, I'll end with this. When a man feels his woman respects, wants, and loves him, he will give his heart and soul to provide, protect, and cherish her. Which is what 99% of women want, right? And when all of this was normal? All of history, pretty much, before the pill came into existence. So just by respecting the man, by making him feel needed and wanted, women will earn the man's devotion in essence. Men are simple creatures. There we go. They aren't complicated. Many women just have this need to make things complicated. And I think a lot of times we do that because, we as women can be complicated and can't perceive that men can be so simple. So they assume men must be complicated as well, and then they complicate men, and things get all complicated as a result, right? It's kind of funny. But, yeah. There you go. Those are some of those deep, potent tips that will work. Find yourself a good man and have your dream relationship, have your dream life. We only live once, make it worth it. And if you want to dive deeper into becoming your own dream woman, being super confident, knowing what you want, going for it, and getting it, then definitely check out my course, Divinely Favored, which is down below. And get your free gift, which is a different link. It's a play sheet, instead of a worksheet. And it is really fun and super, super life-changing for changing your mindset and stepping into the woman of your dreams. So, yeah, definitely comment down below, like, share, and subscribe. And definitely follow me on Instagram at IamVibrantElegance. And I'll see you next time. Bye.